Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, the Python Gurukul. Today we'll be talking about Python object-oriented programming concept part 1 of 3, and we'll be covering class, which will include data member, methods, init, self, and then we'll be talking about the object. And inside the object, we'll cover how to create get and set methods. So we got a lot to talk, so let's keep moving and start with the class. So class is a user-defined data type which includes data member and methods. In another term, we can say that class is a template which is helping us to build the new data type. And as per our requirement, we can have the attributes inside the template. To understand it further, take a look at this picture. In this diagram, we see a hazy picture of car. It's not very clear what it is. To understand the Python, we need to define the new data type which Python can understand, and then the class will be handy. This is a first sample program of the class, and in this program, I want to bring your attention to the first line of the sample. In the first line, we are using the keyword class, and then we are giving one unique name, car. So this way, we have defined a new data type. The name is car, and then now we need to write about it. So this body of the car is going to have attributes, the member, and what we can do with those members, like what methods we want to have, class method, and one of them is init. So init is the special method, which have two underscore leading and two trailing. Another important aspect of the init is it gets executed automatically whenever we create instance of the class. So we are keep talking about the instance. So just hang on with me. I'll be talking about the instance in detail. Again, another term to understand the class is the self. We'll be keep using again and again. But what it is? So self is representing the instance of the class. It is just going to bind the data and the method and provide the mechanism inside the class to access the existing members and the methods. In this program, we see that we have the self, and now we are referring self.model. It is just saying that we are talking about one of the instance of the model. Again, we are trying to return some value from this class and from this method. What we are doing, we are again referring the instance data. Similarly, we can refer the members as well. So we have the get model, which is the member of the class. And now using the self, we are calling the get model. So self can access data and self can also access the methods. We have been keep talking about member and methods, so let's talk about it. For a data member could be at two levels. It could be the class level or it could be at the instance level. So first, let's try to understand what the data could be. For the car, the data could be like engine, tires, steering wheels, brakes, moonroof, leather seat, black and white, like any color. Those all will be coming as a data members. And another thing we want to highlight that how the class member data and the instance attributes are different. So first we are going to take a look how we can define the class attributes. Again, we know that how we are defining the new data type with name class. And in this data type, it is very special, only one data it has, and we can see that directly inside the class itself, and that is the model. How we can access that? By just calling the class name and the variable name. How we can rewrite? By just calling the class and then the variable. Similarly, the instance attribute will create the car, but now we see that we do not have data directly inside the class. We have the data, but this data is inside one of the init methods. And also this particular data is being referred by cells. So this model is at the instance level and this particular model is at the class level. How we can access? To access the instance level data, we have to create the object and then we can access. Just for now, just think that we have some object C1 and then we are calling the variable name, we are adding that. How we can write? Again, calling the object name and then the variable name and rewriting the data. And the next part is the methods. So methods are special functions. They are the function which we have already learned. Now we are learning they are inside the class, so they will be called methods. We have learned about the init method. Now we have get car, set car, and we can have as many information we want. So if we have the data, we want to operate on those data. So the data will be called data member, but whenever we are performing the operation on those data, will be called data methods. So get car is a method which is going to perform some operation with the data. What it is doing, it is just printing the model and the name. We have another method, set car. What we are doing, we are setting the new value. Few more things to bring to our notice. The order of these method does not matter. We can have them in any order. While calling these methods doesn't matter. It has been written on the top or bottom. It will call irrespective of the order. Another important thing we need to understand in the method is the self. So even if we do not have any argument like this particular get car, we are not expecting any input. Still, we are passing the self, and the self will be the first arguments of the methods. And that's all about the method. Let's keep moving. Okay, so now we are back to objects, which we have been keep talking. We need to understand the objects to take a look at all the examples. So object is an instance of a class. In our previous example, we look at the class car. Now we are looking at the two different objects of the instance. One, we can also say that state. So one car looks like blue, another looks like red. There will be even more different in their feature. To understand it further, we got this blueprint, we defined the class car, and now from the class car, we are instantiating objects. And then we have different objects. These different objects are completely independent. In this example, we have car A, car B. A does not know about the B does not know about A. Take a look at that sample. So we have been keep looking at this particular class car. Now we need to take a look at the right side. What we did, we called the car, but look at it, what it is. This car does not have any argument, but what we are doing. So this is the beauty of the init, and that's what we said earlier, that whenever we are creating the object, init method gets called automatically, and this is what's happening here. As soon as we are instantiating, the init method will be called, and init method requires the model number, and that's what we need to pass here. And then at the end, we got the car1 object. So this is our first object. And then with the help of this object, we can play with all the methods, all the data inside this class. What we are doing, by just using the object name, using the dot operator, we are calling one of the methods here. And very similarly, we can call them methods. And in our previous program, we saw that calling one of the variables. So we can access the member, we can access the methods with the help of objects. Again, on the same line, we can create another object with the name car2. We are calling the car. And then inside the car, we are passing 2022 model. So this time, this model variable will be set with the 2022. So this particular block knows about the 2022 model, and the previous one only knows about the 2021 model. So now it's time. We need to take a look at that lots of sample program. And I'll bring one of the sample program here and take a look at data member one. So go to the command line, call the program Python and call the data member one. Okay, what has just happened? So this class was the smallest class we can think of, and this data type, the name is car, has only one thing, and that is the class attribute, class member. What it has, only one variable pointing to the 2022. How we can access? By just calling the class name and then using the variable name. And this is what has been printed in the first line. The second one, we are just looking at how we can write the data. So car dot model, again we are calling the class name and then dot variable name and the new value. Once we have updated the value, we are calling the car dot model and making sure that we are printing that data. Now take a look at that another example, and that is the instance attribute. Again, we have very straight class, and then inside the class, we are calling we are creating one definition init, and inside the init we have variable self.model, and then we are creating one object. So now we know how to create the object. So we call the class name and the value which is required to initialize, that is the 2022. This value is being passed to this particular model, and then model will be set to the self.model. So now this particular model is representing the instance data. So C1 is object now, and C1 dot model is going to read whatever data we had. So it will print 2022, and then by using the object name, calling the variable name, we'll be able to override the model data. That's what we did here, and then we are calling the program. Let's run this program. And model is not defined because, okay, so let me save the program, and now we run that. And this is what we printed. We printed 2021, we have rewritten the data, and now we are printing 2021. Let's keep moving. This one is going to be one of the interesting program for the class. And this particular example has lots of things we need to learn. So we started the class, we know about it, we have written comments about the class, then we are starting the several definitions. So init we have already learned, and now we are going through the get, set, through the get, we are getting some value which we have been initialized here, and then with the help of set, we are reading those, we are setting those value. And similarly, we can add as many methods we want. Let's take a look at here. And side by side, we'll run this program too, and then try to understand. So what we did, we created the car object. While creating, we have passed two arguments, and these are being set to the model and name, and those are instance variable now. We are calling the car.getCar. What it does, getCar returns the value of self model and self name. This is returning two values, so we should have two variables to get this value back. We are storing them into C model, C name, and then just printing them. Another method we have setCar. In the setCar, we are setting the new value. that is 2023, and the model is Kia. The model is set, name is set, and we are just calling the gate car once again to read the value and printing, making sure that the new value has been set. So these were state things, but now things will be very interesting if we look at this particular program. So let me bring a little bit small. So what we did, we created the class C. It has two methods, A and B. So it is not necessary to have the init. Init is only necessary whenever we want to initialize some value. So let me go ahead and run this particular program, Python, and call the name test.py. Yeah, and I'm not doing anything here, so nothing is happening. Let me see. What about have the init and then have the init? Do we need to pass anything? So again, we have init, but we are not looking to initialize anything. And we're just going to call this program. Okay. And it just say, because whenever we are creating the object, it will be just saying hello world. Another method. In this method, I have A, I have B, but I have not used self. So this is not the best practice. These are the just sample I'm giving, that even without the self, without the init, we can have the program. As we are not sharing any data, then self is not required. So, so that's all I was thinking to add here. And that's all I had for class and objects. If you like, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.